how do we start manifestation in today's busy world that anyone can follow?
Manifestation is not magic. You don't manifest what you want, you only manifest what you normalize. It's very common that the man who's prepared the most wins, but it is the action that is appreciated and not the preparation. It's always you versus you. There are two yous inside of you. The one you is the old version of you which wants to stay in the comfort zone. The other you wants to thrive and grow.
Can holding on to a past heartbreak stop new love from finding?
100%. Reason being, we all have something called the energetic space. Everything in your external reality is a reflection of who you are on the inside. In the process of manifestation also, right? We all tend to overthink because of two things. When it comes to mental peace and money, you can have both of it. It's a mind block. That is what people have convinced us into believing. You can either have this or you can either have this. You cannot.
Starting off with a prayer to the universe. Dear Lord, thank you for all the blessings, for all the people in this room, all the people in this building, all our clients, all our customers. A big thank you to Gayathri and her team for making the time and effort to be here. Dear Lord, give us peace on this planet. And whilst we are warmongering today, I think human life is the most important asset, and let us learn to live and love each other. And thank you for all the opportunity for allowing us to practice our craft. Let's rock and roll. I'm here today with a special guest, and this guest dives deep into the psychology, into the meditation, and into what I would say as the inspiration that allows each one of us to become better human beings. So without further ado, let me introduce to you my very famous guest, Gayathri.
That's so sweet of you. And I would definitely love to tell the audience the ritual that you did before we started. I've really not seen a lot of people do this. It's so beautiful. When you did the prayer, it just brings so much calm and peace in here. And it speaks about your intention, not just for the podcast, not just for your business, but in general, the intention that you have for the world. It's amazing.
So Gayathri, speaking of intentions, I always believe the power of the mind. I believe in spiritualism. Where did your journey start with the power of the mind over the body? Because this is very important for people who watch my podcast.
Right.
They meet me on the road and like, oh, Ryan Fernando, nutrition doctor, no? I'm like, no, not nutrition doctor, just nutritionist. But they associate with me of being about nutrition. But they don't understand the most powerful part about nutrition. First is saying that, do I need to say no to what I have to put into my body? So where did your journey start with the power of the mind?
I think it was a combination of pain and curiosity. Pain being, I've been in multiple failed relationships in the past. Apart from that, also the kind of childhood experiences that I went through. It was extremely difficult for me to kind of understand what I was going through while I was constantly attracting the same patterns in my life again and again. So when this started to happen, there was a lot of curiosity as to, is this how my life is going to be like? Or why is that some people are very successful and why is that some people are not? So the combination of pain and curiosity. So once I finished college and graduated from college, the first book that I read was The Secret. And it just opened the world into, oh my God, you can think positive, you can think about something and you can manifest everything in your life. Though it's partially true. It's not completely true. It's only partially true. That's why Rhonda Byrne went about to write another book after, I think, 17 years called The Greatest Secret, because The Secret only spoke about law of attraction on a very superficial level. And if you take a look at people, like, we love fantasies. Day before yesterday, I was doing a podcast with one of my mentors, Dr. John D. Martini, and I was asking him, why is that the entire world typically knows what they're supposed to do, but still end up not doing that? And he told me this example, which is very profound. He said, Gayathri, if you went to a seminar and if you heard the trainer speak and say, buy this course or buy this CD or buy this book, you'll become a billionaire in 3 weeks. Majority of the people are going to go run towards that because people love pleasure without the pain. But both of them are...
the quick fix.
Always. The mind loves fantasies. The mind loves to get into something where it does not have to put in a lot of effort. So I think for me, the journey started as a combination of pain and curiosity. And ever since, I think the last 13 years, I'm just growing and evolving. And the more I learn, I get to understand there's so much more to learn and I know only very little.
It's very interesting that you talk about the law of attraction by Rhonda Byrne. I remember I was working in my previous job about 17 years ago. And my father sent me the video DVD of it, The Secret. And I watched it and it amazed me. And I was working with this company where the ad agency guy, I talked to him about it. I was really excited. Like, there's something called the law of attraction. He's like, hang on. So he goes out and brings out this photocopied book. And this photocopied book is called Ask and It Is Given.
Yes, but
And the second one is The Law of Attraction, also by Jerry and
Neville
Esther.
Goddard. Oh, okay.
Jerry and Esther
Esther,
Hicks.
yes.
So, and he said, this is photocopied. You don't get these books in India. And Rhonda Bryan and everybody else, they all believe in the same law of attraction,
Yes.
vibration, energy.
Yes.
Fast forward to 15, 16 years later, as Ryan Fernando, there is no reason why an average nutritionist like me should be famous. There's no reason. There is only one point that I have found out that has worked for me, which is there is a higher power.
Yes.
And if you vibrate towards that higher power
Yes.
with your correct intention, which is the law of attraction. And so this podcast studio sitting in today was a law of attraction.
Yes.
The everybody in this company who's been attracted to come and work is a law of attraction.
Yeah.
So I think your journey where it starts with pain and then you realize there are certain vectors that you can begin to change and you begin to manifest is so great. And I now know why my team wanted you here today, because the law of attraction says you needed to be here today and you needed to tell, how this works. So I want to go to my next question because I want to be a little bit selfish over here for my audience out there. You said, right, everyone runs towards that book, buy my course, do this and everything. So I say, everyone, buy my diet plan and, you'll get this six-pack like a Bollywood film star. But I recently launched my diet planning app. Nearly 30,000 people downloaded the intake form. 17,000 completed it. Only 300 asked for the free diet plan. India is a health-loving nation, not a health-doing nation.
Yes.
So all of this enthusiasm, health-loving, I'll join the gym, I'm going to start eating healthy, but in a few days it kind of disappears.
Yeah.
You talk in a lot of your podcasts about mental masturbation being a massive block. I want you as a motivation expert, as a holistic mind coach, to tell me how can people break this?
Okay, great question. First of all, let's understand it's always you versus you. There are two yous inside of you. The one you is the old version of you, which wants to stay in the comfort zone. The other you wants to thrive and grow. So now when the competition is between you versus you, the older you always has the higher power because of habit and because of what it has been doing over and over again. And the subconscious mind does not like any kind of change. So now, for example,
What is subconscious mind?
Okay. So basically, when we are born, right, from the age of 0 until the age of 7, the analytical mind or the conscious mind is not formed. So when an infant is born, the primary goal of that child is to survive in that tribe. So in order for me to survive in that tribe, what do I have to do? I have to learn what the tribe members do. I have to understand how their mindset is, and I'll have to adapt to that. So how do I do that? So I don't have a conscious mind, which means I don't have my own thinking abilities, my own analytical abilities. I'm going to simply observe everything that is around me, my parents, my relatives, my friends, and everybody. And I'm going to pick in information from there and understand that's exactly how I'm supposed to look at the world and sustain in the world for my sustenance for the remaining 70, 80, 90 years in this lifetime. After the age of 7, the analytical mind starts to kick in. But 95% of our beliefs are formed before the age of 7. So if I grew up in an environment where my parents constantly fought about money, where my parents constantly fought about wealth or anything around conversations around that, or I heard conversations of, oh, money is very evil. Oh, they made a lot of money because they were cheating somebody. It's a scam. So I'm going to associate in my mind saying money is evil. So now I grow up into becoming an adult and I go out in the world and there is an opportunity for me to seize and I can become a millionaire as a pursuit of that opportunity. But every time I go approach that opportunity, I self-sabotage it. I either self-sabotage it consciously, or if I don't do it consciously, I fall sick or something happens so that I cannot go through that.
So you versus you is actually a battle with your analytical mind and your subconscious mind, kind of?
Yes. Because, so for example, let's say in your case, 30,000 people fill the form. Why? The conscious mind of 30,000 people wanted to become fit. All of us want to be fit. All of us want to be healthy. So the conscious mind made the choice, but the conscious mind is just 5%. The remaining 95% of the mind is a subconscious belief. For example, if I have a belief, I'll give you an example. So For example, let's say this was something that was quoted by my mentor in his coaching sessions. There was a person who came to him. She was in her mid 30s. She had put on a lot of weight. And she came up to him and said, Dr. DeMartini, no matter what I do and how much I try, I'm not able to change. I end up binge eating. I end up putting on a lot of weight. And while doing a regressive process, and he does a specific process, and when he did that process, to understand our body does not hold on to anything that is not serving our body in the first place. Which
Interesting.
means even the negative belief that you have, what you think I shouldn't be having this, is serving a part of you. So now we need to realize which part of me is it serving at this point of time. For her, it was when she was in her teens, she was physically molested. And she created a belief system saying, because I'm beautiful and pretty, I was molested. How do I not get molested in the future? By putting on a lot of weight. The weight was in fact protecting her from being molested.
Oh.
So there is a psychological reason. For me, I've struggled all my life with body image issues. I was a healthy child since when I was growing up. I had to face a lot of bullying. Till date, I have the yo-yo. So there are so many aspects of my life that I've overcome the old belief system. I've had the ability to embrace abundance. When it comes to health, there's still a lot of unlearning that is happening, because for me, the weight that I carry, the excess weight that I carry, is emotional weight. Because when I was growing up, I did not have my father with me throughout. So the emotional vacuum was being filled by the food. So now I need to unlearn that, because the body is magnificent and its intelligence is amazing. So if the body is holding on to something, it only means that something is unresolved on the inside.
Wonderful. I mean, I never thought it's so powerful that there can be trauma and food and the body's composition can change.
Yes.
Speaking of eating food, you talk a lot about a mental diet.
Yes.
Now, for me, diet mental is like, oh, give them omega-3. You know what? Chamomile tea gives you deep sleep. I know that saffron's equivalent to Prozac as a natural thing to keep anxiety and depression down in women. But is there a mental diet for thoughts?
Okay, let's understand what mental diet is first. So, why do you ask people to be on a specific diet? Because whatever they put into their body, they become that. Similarly, whatever you put into your mind, you become that. On a regular basis, I encourage my clients to do this. One day, the entire day, sit in your bed, don't shower, just binge eat whatever you want, and watch some random Netflix series. Keep watching all the news. During the night, before you go to bed, write down a journal. How do you feel? Everybody feels miserable about themselves. So, mental diet is you cutting off anything from your life, from your attention, that is taking away your mind space, not in the direction where you want to move ahead. So, for example, let's say I want to move in the direction of exponentially growing. It can be any aspect of my life. So, the more I cut out information from the outside and I engage only in the things that I want to engage. So, you're giving your mind only the things that you want to give. So, which means your mind will start adapting to the things that you give it to. So, regularly in the process of mental diet, what I recommend people to do is cut off your social media, because our brain is not evolved to process so much information in so little time, and most of it is unnecessary information. We don't need to know what our neighbor is having for dinner. We don't need to know where our neighbor is going for vacation. So when you cut out from all of that, you have mental space to put information into your mind that truly has the ability to transform your life. So as soon as you wake up, before you go to sleep, no social media, no mobile phones for 1 hour. Make sure to use reading or meditating or listening to some good night tapes before you go to sleep. Journal it out. And even throughout the day, I recommend people to use something called the alarm technique. So the problem with most people is, okay, Gayathri, I'm going to do that 45 minutes of a morning routine and I'm going to be set for the day. 45 minutes or 1 hour is just 1 hour of 16 hours of waking hours. What about the remaining 15 hours? If you're going to constantly think about negative things and engage in negative conversations, the work that you've done in 1 hour is not enough. So basically what I recommend them is put 5 to 6 alarms on your phone. And every time the alarm goes on, for example, let's say it says love affirmations, self-love affirmations. The second time it says abundance affirmations. I recommend people to record it in their own voice, because when the subconscious listens to me saying, I love myself, I'm amazing, I'm here for a bigger purpose, at a regular interval on an everyday basis, I'm going to constantly keep thinking about that. It's an easier way for you to rewire your subconscious programming.
That's so beautiful. I think the world needs to cut out the noise and distraction.
Absolutely.
And it when you do that, it literally allows you to have time to have your own thoughts or direction for your thoughts.
Yes.
Now, speaking of thoughts, I was watching one of your videos and you said that you need to raise your vibration, right? So, me as a nutritionist, I'm like, okay, if the metabolism goes up, then I need to give 20 more carbohydrate grams, so the calories go up and all, because this guy's doing more work, his vibration has gone up. That's a physicality point of view. What does this mean and how does it impact the physical health, raising the vibration?
Okay. So, first of all, let's understand what vibration is. Vibration is a combination of your thoughts, your feelings, the words that you say, the stuck trauma in your body, and the unprocessed emotions in your body. The combination of all of this, including your belief system, is the vibration that you are at. So, I believe in this concept of everything in your external reality is a reflection of who you are on the inside. When I speak about who you are on the inside, it's nothing but the vibration that you're vibrating at. So, for example, let's say, you're vibrating at 10 hertz. I'm going to use a random example. In your reality, you're going to attract people, circumstances, situations, opportunities that is a match of 10 hertz. Let's say 10 hertz means I'm not good enough, I'm so insecure, I may not get opportunities, which means you're going to attract everything that will make this come true for you. So if you want to, for example, at this point of time, let's say the person who's watching this is probably earning 1 lakh per month or 2 lakhs per month, and they have an aspiration to earn 5 to 10 lakhs per month. Being the person who earns 1 lakh per month, you can never transition into 5 lakhs or 10 lakhs per month. Why? The 1 lakh per month person vibrates at a specific frequency. And so you will only end up attracting things in your life that vibrates at that frequency. So in order for you to go to the next level, you got to change your belief system. So when I change my belief system, that's why I always say you don't manifest what you want, you only manifest what you normalize.
And from a physical health point of view, is there any advice that you could give people? Because they come to me and say, I want to become Mr. Universe. I want to be the fittest person. I want to lose 20 kgs. I want to have flawless skin. Will this thought process of vibration, like you said, the 1 lakh rupee, functionally, will it help?
Okay, so it's not a quick fix. Okay, in this entire journey of personal development or self-growth, nothing is quick fix. And if somebody recommends saying, do this overnight, tomorrow that is going to happen, I highly recommend, please don't fall for that. If somebody tells you, write in a green pen, blue ink, black paper, put it under the pillow, please don't fall for any of that. Because the longer run, the only thing that will work for you is when you change things from within. So in the example that you gave me, right, like what happens physically? If you'd asked me the same question a year back, my answer would have been different. But now my answer is, the more you have acceptance to what is happening to you in your life, the more easy you'll feel on the inside. All the turmoil of emotions and thought patterns happen only because you resist what is. Because the mind tells us that if this happens, I may not be able to get what I truly want in my life. But what makes you think or believe that this is not supposed to happen in order for you to get what you asked for?
I'm pausing over here because I'm just trying to digest that at such a deep level. And I'm feeling like goosebumps in the back of my head, That's profound.
Yeah.
That's really profound.
See, think about it. At this point of time, if anything is causing an unpleasant sensation inside of you, there are only two things, right? A pleasant sensation, unpleasant sensation. And the mind always loves to run towards something which is pleasurable, wants to run away from something that is painful. And Vipassana and Buddha speaks about the same thing. He attained liberation by doing this practice, by observing the bodily sensations of pleasure and pain and not reacting to both.
I think, Gayathri, for me, the simplest way I discovered that was when I had to do a cold plunge.
Oh, yeah.
At 6 degrees Celsius, I went into it and I jumped out within 10 seconds. And I was like, I can't do this. And then I remember a voice in my head, which is, like I have an avatar inside of me that says, come on, Ryan, you can do this. And I realized that the lazy diva inside of me didn't want to do it.
Yes.
So that pleasure and pain are two things. But sometimes I think the human race has to also understand that they are in control of their belief system.
Absolutely.
And you have to grab hold of your mind and say, behave yourself. Grab hold of your body and say, behave yourself. Now, the person who's grabbing hold of you is you.
Yes.
And we try and put a physical manifestation. It's my brain, it's my heart, it's my muscles, and all of those things.
I'd like to add on to what you just said about the cold plunge, right? So, why do people give up on something, even when it comes to following a nutrition plan or even when it comes to following their dreams? Because when the discomfort kicks in, the discomfort is too uncomfortable for them to handle, so they give up. So, the easiest way for you to build that resilience in your body is to put yourself through discomfort on a regular interval. And what is the easiest thing to do? Take cold showers every day.
I'm now at 11 minutes.
That's crazy.
So the idea is every time I go in and I say I want to come out, I keep telling my body that this is something difficult. And believe me, Gayatri, it's put a new perspective on the definition of pain,
Yes.
not from a physicality point of view, but from processing it from a point of view saying that, okay, somebody nicked my car yesterday. I'm in a very angry place. But that physical pain of a cold plunge just taught me that, you know what? It's just a nick in the pain, in the car paint. You can buy a new car. You just got to work harder and buy a better car or a larger car or a car with a bigger bumper. And then suddenly when you shift that mindset. It's like, it's not that important on losing your marbles over it.
That shift happened because you've exposed your mind and your body to discomfort enough number of times so the discomfort is not carrying you off. So the more resilience you have in yourself by doing simple things like taking a cold shower, putting yourself in discomfort or uncomfortable situations on a regular basis, you build a strong muscle for it.
I have another one. Try having amla first thing in the morning. A lot of people don't like it. Like, you give me amla in an 11-minute cold plunge, I am taking cold plunge any day. So I've not yet gone to the amla level. But that's some great advice. Begin to practice something of discomfort.
Yes.
Now, from a nutritionist point of view, I would tell a person, don't follow a diet. If you eat 2 katoris of rice, can you do 1 katori of rice continuously for 90 days? Go from the pleasure of eating to a full belly to the pleasure of eating a half belly. And that is where you can test whether you have mental grit towards the future you, which is a healthier you.
Yes.
How would you advise people to start this process in today's world? Maybe let's say from the manifestation point of view, because I want people to understand that we can be a healthier nation, not with a diet plan, not with an exercise plan, but with a thought process.
Yes.
We need to start first with, I choose to be a healthier person.
Yeah.
I choose to be a balanced person, whether it's in emotional health, whether it's in mental health, whether it's in physical health, whether it's in nutritional health, or even spiritual health. So manifestation, I believe, personally, I've done it. For me, it has worked. So how do we start manifestation in today's busy world? And is there any methodology or structure that anyone can follow?
Okay. So first of all, let's understand the idea that manifestation is not magic. Just like, for example, I have this. I'm just going to drop it. It's going to fall down. Why? Law of gravity, right? Similarly, you believe in law of gravity, you don't, the universe does not care. The law of gravity exists irrespective. Similarly, we all have been manifesting all the time. As in, whatever you're vibrating at, whatever your belief system is, your external reality is showing a reflection of that. But my question is, are you willing to manifest consciously moving forward? We've been manifesting unconsciously based on the beliefs that we did not know exist inside of us. We've been manifesting. Now, the goal is to move into conscious manifestation. When it comes to conscious manifestation, the entire process of manifestation is just 4 steps. First one, become clear of what you truly want to manifest. Right? When you become clear, so for example, let's say a car, a house, a partner, and all of that, we need to understand it is not these things that we want, but rather the emotions that we believe these things are going to give us. It's not the car that you want. It's not the $1 million that you want. You want the car because you want to feel the luxury. You want the $1 million in your bank account because you want to feel that abundance and freedom. So it's not the $1 million. If somebody gave you that kind of a freedom without the $1 million, you would still take it. But the mind wants something tangible. Mind cannot understand something that is intangible. So the first one is be clear of what you truly want. The second one is, if you want something and it does not exist in your external reality right now, the only reason is because there is a subconscious belief that is stopping you from getting there. So the second one is to start identifying what your subconscious blocks are for you to get to that point. And the third one is healing. That's why I always talk about healing and manifestation, and not just manifestation. In order for you to change that belief, you've got to heal yourself. You've got to understand what your trauma is. You've got to understand what parts of you you've been abandoning all these years and what parts of you are being stuck, in order for you to accept them and start embracing yourself. So, clarity, identification, healing, and the last one is self concept. A lot of people have the ability to manifest what they want in their life, but they don't have the ability to sustain it in their life. The reason why they don't have the ability to sustain is because they have a belief system that says, oh, I can manifest whatever I want in my life, but just that it does not stay with me. I'm not worthy of it. It's too good to be true for me. So, if you don't change the story that you tell yourself about your worthiness, we only operate from two places. We either operate from a place of self worth, or we operate from a space of chasing self worth.
That's powerful.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people would ask this, speaking of self-worth, because everyone wants the shortcut. But when you meet clients, when you do your workshops, your master classes, let's say I had to come to you. What is the advice that you would give very quickly so that maybe the entire human race can move faster in that direction?
Okay, when it comes to self worth, take a look at all the people who have high self esteem. They are the ones who do what they tell themselves that they're going to do. That's it. The minute you honor your own commitment, the respect that you have for yourself peaks. The minute the respect that you have for yourself peaks, everybody around you is going to respect you also. But the irony is, the more you love yourself, the more respect you have for yourself, you're not going to seek for that from the outside.
Run your own race.
That's it.
So, Gayatri, I work with a lot of children, especially in sports performance. And you said the subconscious mind is formed before the age of 7. Are there things that people, or even me or you, go through when we are kids that secretly, even we don't know, it affects us today?
Everything that you and I are today is mostly a reflection of what has happened in our belief system, in our subconscious before the age of 7. We create a lot of voids on the inside, right? There's a lot of self-abandonment issues. There's a lot of self-worth issues. There's a lot of issues when it comes to understanding our own selves much better. If we don't fix that, our entire life is going to go away in trying to fill those voids from something on the outside. If I believe I'm unworthy of love, my entire life is going to go around chasing people so that they can fall in love with me to fill that void. But every time I talk about people filling that void for us, it's like a bucket with a hole at the bottom. No matter how much love and appreciation that you get, you're going to feel empty in no time, because you have not found a way to bring those aspects inside of you that you've abandoned for so many years onto the surface for you to accept that for yourself. Until you do that, that's why I always say the amount of money that you make and the love that you have in your life is directly proportional to how much you value yourself and how much you love yourself. That's it.
So when I'm working with a kid, if I see a very angry kid or I see a very scared kid, what should I tell the parent?
Okay. The reason why the kid is so angry is because there's a lot of grief inside which is suppressed and it is coming out as anger. So whatever, children have absolutely no idea how to navigate the world. They use the parents to navigate the world, which means if the mom and dad are constantly yelling at each other and the kid believes that is the formula of love, the kid is going to grow up into an adult and be in a relationship. I'm going to give you my example. My parents used to fight left, right, and crazy. So in a relationship all my life, if there was no fight, I would feel like there is lack of love there. My husband grew up in a very calm and a loving environment. My husband hates conflicts, not because he wants to avoid conflict. He loves having very difficult conversations, but just that he's like, love can be much more peaceful. It took me a long time to understand that, because my definition of love was framed by looking at my parents who were constantly fighting all the time. And my understanding about money was also quite screwed up when I was growing up, because we did not have a lot of money when we were growing up. It was always fights. It was always, my dad was missing, a lot of emotional voids that I carried inside of myself. And that's exactly why I ended up being in relationships one after the other to attract somebody who'd make me feel miserable. That's why I always say nobody on the outside can ever make you feel anything about yourself that you don't already feel about yourself.
Wow, that's powerful, because I wanted to ask you that how do you know that a negative thought is just random or it is from a deep wound inside? And you've kind of just answered that, which is it already exists.
Yes.
it's your environment, it's your subconscious training in the younger years. But how do we tell teenagers, that vulnerable age of 12 to 18, especially when they're becoming young adults, then they need an identity and they want to express themselves? Is there some 4 or 5 things that we can ask them to do which will help in their self-love or make them feel better about themselves?
Okay, the first thing I would highly recommend is for parents to identify what the child is genuinely interested in, not what the parent is interested in. Because we all have high possibility of becoming successful in the areas that are intrinsically important for us. If I become a health coach, I would miserably fail in that because that is not one of my top priorities in my life. If you became something else, which was not one of the top priorities, you would not perform really well. So generally what happens for a child with low self-esteem is the parent expects the child to perform in something that the child has no interest towards. Let's say the child loves music, but the parent is putting the child in a chess class and the child fails miserably. The child's self-esteem goes for a toss.
Is there a difference between self-esteem and self-love?
Okay, self-love is your acceptance of yourself, and self-esteem is how much you respect and how you view yourself.
Okay. So basically, for a kid to have self-love, what could you teach them? Some small things? Because my question was more like, I feel a lot of teenagers that I work with have very low self-love. I think self-esteem is the next level.
Yes.
But they have very low self-love.
Yeah. Because the world is so competitive and everybody wants. Okay, now take a look at social media. All children have access to social media right now. The minute they see something on social media, which is a very idealistic version, they try to compare that with their life and they're like, I am not as good enough as they are. If the parents at home don't teach them how to love themselves, that is why I tell parents, rather than putting your child in so many classes and doing all of that, all that you need to do with your children is 2 things. 1, give them unconditional love. Because that is the only thing that they'll get from you and nowhere else. Give them unconditional love. 2nd, give them the belief system that they can be anything, they can have anything, they can become anything, provided they put in that effort. Don't stop them from thinking big. The more they think big, the more they have the ability to accomplish. And always appreciate their efforts and not the results. The more you appreciate the child's efforts, the child is going to do more of it. That is why there's a beautiful saying, right? It says, it's very common that the man who's prepared the most wins. But it is the action that is appreciated and not the preparation.
True. Very, very true. Like everyone sees Virat Kohli hit a 6, but they don't understand the
preparation that's gone behind it.
Years of preparation gone to become
that is one. Athlete. And the second thing, a lot of people just stay stuck in the preparation phase. They don't take action. You can prepare for 20 years, 30 years, but you'll have to act upon it. Because in the process of manifestation also, right? People generally say, I need to know the entire picture. I need to know the entire path in order for me to take the first step ahead. The path is not even created before you take the first step.
I think Gayathri is a very important point because I was a very, very average student. And what you're talking about, the path is not known. The intelligent students in the class wanted to know the entire path. And when I started my business, I remember everybody, including family members and friends and all, of like, you don't even know what you're going to be doing. You don't even know the path. But there was just this conviction inside of me is that I know I want to change the way India eats for a healthier. But the business, whether it'll be successful or not, I was like, you know what? Let's just jump in. So I think sometimes gambling risk is also very high in people who don't look at this whole, like I need to know the whole path. But I would say to people out there is that if you're loved, you've got roti, kapda, makan sorted, becoming an entrepreneur and trying to do something for the world is a great way to achieve a certain sense of, what is the word? Self-worth, net worth internally. So that's what I resonate with this whole point that it's never planned out for anybody. I don't think Jeff Bezos knew he was going to become a billionaire. I don't think Elon Musk went in that direction. Or if somebody becomes the Pope tomorrow, I don't think they decided to do that. Or if there's a soldier out there right now going to fight for our country, I don't think they planned being there at the battlefront. So staying true to who you are, I think, is the message that you're giving. And you're telling a lot of people, believe inside of you, there's a superpower inside of you.
Absolutely. There are 2 things, right? One is you just need to know the why and you need to know the what. You don't need to know the how. The how will be taken care. Because the limited human intelligence can probably predict 10, 15 hows of how you can get to the point where you're destined to go. But the universe has like crazy ways of giving it. Why do you even have to do that and dig into that? Rather, just focus on what is your why and take that inspired action on an every single day basis. Because if I have to travel from Chennai to Bangalore, I don't need to know the entire path. All that I need to know is the next 100 meters, 100 meters, and 100 meters. Your ability needs to be to move through the 100 meters. And the beauty of the universe is the next 100 meters automatically opens up when you take that leap of faith and take the first 100 meters.
Gayatri, I tend to overthink a lot, but it's more from a business perspective. But I also have my media team who overthinks on a lot of things, on how we create the script, where we'll go, should we communicate about this, should we not talk about this, is it a trend, and all of that stuff. That's great from a professional point of view. But I also sit with people in counseling rooms and I see a lot of overthinking, and that's towards low self-esteem. How can we enable such people to move out of that?
What do you think is the root cause of overthinking?
Root cause of overthinking could be fear.
Okay.
Of like, what if I take action and something bad happens to me?
Correct. More than fear, it's lack of self-trust.
Expand, please.
Okay. So, for example, let's say I start off a goal of losing weight and getting on a healthy journey. And I've told myself I'm going to do that. And 1 week I followed that and I slipped away. Then I told myself, okay, this was the first time, let's start over again. I kept doing that 3-4 times. And the 5th time, I'm failing again. The 6th time, when I want to do this, I'm going to constantly overthink if it's just going to work for me, not work for me. Why? I don't have the trust in myself. We all tend to overthink generally in life or with respect to manifesting something because of 2 things. 1, I don't trust myself. I don't have enough evidence for doing things that I told myself I'm going to do. And the second thing, I don't trust the universe. Now think about this. Let's say you're traveling from point A to point B and you've called your wife and you've told her, hey, make this special dish for me. I'd love to come home and have this, right? If you believed that your wife would make that specific dish for you, the 2 hours of journey is going to be amazing for you. You're going to listen to your favorite music, you're going to vibe, you're going to just chill and come back. If you did not trust your wife, every 10th minute, you're going to call her. Every 5th minute, you're going to think, oh, will she make this for me? Will she do this? Will she not do that? The same thing. When you don't trust the universe, when you don't trust yourself, the possibility of you constantly overthinking becomes high. And another aspect, right? It's a perspective shift that you need to have. Most of us, at any point of time in life, I ask people this question. At least once in your life, have you had this thought that I wish I was born in a different family? I wish I was in a different place or position at this point of time. Everybody says a yes. The reason why we want to be somewhere else rather than being in the now is because the mind convinces us into believing that somewhere else is better than the now. What makes you believe that is true?
That is so deep. I would put the cream on top of that by saying the grass is always greener on the other side, but somebody on the other side is really watering that grass.
Exactly. And we always, right? We always tend to put people on a pedestal, right? The people that we look up to. Why do you think we put people on a pedestal? Simply because when I look up to somebody, for example, a lot of people look at celebrities and they're like, I want to have a body like that. The reason why we put somebody on a pedestal is at that moment in our conscious awareness, I'm only aware of the positives of that person and I'm unaware of the negatives of that person. You have flaws, I have flaws. That is why I constantly tell people when they come for my masterclass, when they come for my coaching, please don't God worship anybody. Please don't put anybody on a pedestal. Just like how you are going through a transformative process in your life, I'm equally going through a transformative process in my life. So the minute you stop putting somebody else on a pedestal, you know what ends up happening? You're not infatuated to that person. It's generally in life. It's with your manager, it's with your boss, it's with a celebrity, it's with your lover, it's with anybody. The minute you understand that every human being is going through a very similar crisis, but a different situation, you start to understand. But most of the people, they only showcase that, oh, I am just like a transformed human. I have no flaws in me. It's bullshit. And you know what it is making the people do? I am chasing something that is unattainable. And I'm not going to get there. I'm going to feel more miserable in the process. And I'm going to stay stuck to come back to you again and again.
I love my job. You know why I love my job? I get these snippets of wisdom every day sitting in my podcast room, and it's so amazing on how you're touching people's soul. And my team asked me to ask you this question because a lot of them are single,
Okay.
and a lot of them are searching for love and
Okay.
relationship and stuff like that. And you talked about, me telling my wife to pack something, and that actually has happened. She's once packed a gluten-free sandwich for me on the flight, and I still today remember that was the best meeting I ever had. And I vividly remember putting a post about it, that my wife packed it, and she'd done it so nicely because she knows how OCD I am when I open a sandwich and it falls down. So she had the layers of aluminum foil done. So relationship, you don't know that your wife is the right person for you.
Yes.
Right? The youngsters said, "Sir, how do we choose our life partner?" Many of them have told me, "My boyfriend or my girlfriend or my lover is so toxic." You mentioned on how you reached out on people that would be fighting because
Yes.
you saw that
Yes.
in your home.
Yes.
So, what is your advice when these youngsters in this age of internet and Instagram and everyone putting their public display affection, that's called PDA, right?
PDA, yeah.
Okay, I never knew what PDA was. I thought it was an iPad or something like that. But he's like, so that's public display of affection. I'm like, oh, okay, that's what it means. So give the youngsters out there the recipe to find beautiful life partners for themselves.
Okay, great question. Let me start off with this. For everybody who's listening, if you've lost hope in love and if you've lost hope in finding your partner, use me as a reference point. 12 years, been in 4 failed relationships, finally met the man who truly has transformed a lot of aspects in my life. For this, let me talk to you about the mistakes that I made in the first place. If you get into a relationship being desperate, the other person is always going to dictate the dynamics of a relationship. Because you're so scared of abandonment, you're so scared of being rejected, you will go out of the way, do anything for the other person, become a doormat, let the person walk all over you because you want the relationship. Inside, you're feeling so void that you want a little bit of a sneak peek of this person giving that. I'll give you another example. Let's say somebody is okay, this is a great example. I just love speaking about this again and again. Let's say somebody's convinced you into believing that you can never cook at all. But you have this beautiful kitchen with all the groceries in there. But somebody's made you believe that you're unworthy of cooking. You can't even cook. So you've not cooked for 3 days and you're starving. And somebody walks past you and they have a loaf of bread and they look at you starving in hunger and they're like, hey, take a couple of pieces. And you eat that. It fills you. You're so grateful for the other person. And the other person looks at you and they walk away. Now again, 2 days later, you're starving again. Now when this person comes, they have a new loaf of bread. They have a stale loaf of bread. And they look at you and you're extremely desperate and you're willing to do whatever it takes to get the bread slice. The person looks at the desperation and they give you the old slice of bread. You still eat it. And you're okay with that because you don't have any other source of food. Now, the next day, the person comes back again to see that you're in the same position. Now, the person is willing to give you breadcrumbs. You're willing to settle for the breadcrumbs. Because you believed that you could not cook. And this reference is not about food. If, for example, you had like this amazing meal. Let's say you had this cheat day and you had this super biryani and all of that. You're super full. If somebody comes and gives you breadcrumbs, would you accept it? You'll be like, dude, no, give me something that matches the standard of what I am, or give me something better than that. When will you have the courage to say that? When you're feeling full on your own. If you're going to come from a space of desperation, that I will feel loved only when you love me, then you're forever going to be a prisoner in the circumstantial things that happen in a relationship. But when you feel full, when you love yourself for who you are, you're going to attract a man or a woman who makes you feel the same way.
Is it the reason why people today, or for a very long time, when they're void inside, they look at materialistic items to fill that void?
100%. 100%.
Can you give me an example?
Okay. So let's say somebody says, I love shopping. I love this. So any desire that we have stems from one of the two places. It either stems from a space of void or it stems from a space of purpose. Let me come back to purpose a little later. So for example, if I'm feeling so empty on the inside, I need an instant gratification on the outside to calm that emptiness on the inside. So what do you think I end up doing? I binge eat, or I go shopping, or even when you see infidelity in partners, it's because of that. It's not because the other partner is right, wrong, good, bad. It's because of the vacuum that you're constantly feeling on the inside. You need something to fill that vacuum. And now, more than ever, there are way too many options for people, right? For men and women, there are so many dating apps. There is too many options. So now, if somebody has gotten used to just being in the dating phase and not being in that commitment phase, the dating phase is where you have all the butterflies. The dating phase is where you feel like you don't even see the other side of the other human being. You only see the positive aspects and you have those butterflies. When you're addicted to being in that phase, when the commitment phase comes in, you want to jump. You want to move, or you want another partner who will keep you in the dating phase. So it all boils down to how aware are you about yourself. The more aware you are about your own challenges, your own unhealed trauma, where your commitment issues are coming from, where the voids are, you're going to use something on the outside. It could be shopping, people, food, anything, or fame to fill that void on the inside.
About 50% of my fan following are under the age of 35
Okay.
and in the marriageable age. Can we manifest, or can they manifest the exact relationship or life partner that they're dreaming about, or is it luck?
No, it's not luck. You can definitely manifest. I'll tell you how I did it. So it was Jan 1, 2022. That is when I went through the horrible breakup, my previous breakup. But I had made a commitment to myself saying, I either heal and move on, or I either die. This is just becoming too extensive for me to go through the same emotions again and again. I'm going to make a commitment to myself saying, I'm going to do whatever it takes for me to heal myself when it comes to relationship. So I took a notebook. I still have that notebook. I call it the magic book, because in that I've written whatever I write in this book comes true, and it literally happens for me. I wrote down a list of 17 qualities of what I want my man to have. Be it ambitious, be it handsome, be it XYZ, everything. 17 qualities, very precise qualities. And then you become those qualities.
Very, very nice.
We attract who we are. If I am not ambitious, I'm not going to attract a man who's ambitious. If I am not loyal, I'm not going to attract a man who's loyal.
If you're not fit, you're not going to attract a fit man.
100%. It boils down to everything.
In fact, that's the one criteria. I remember when I was dating my wife, the first question I asked her is, do you work out? Because one of the attractions in my head was, I want to be able to go and work out
with my partner,
or have a partner who works out, so that when we both grow old, we are not dependent on other people.
Yes.
What else in that book did you write?
So I wrote ambitious, I wrote loyal, I wrote loving, I wrote supportive. In fact, I started my business after I got married to my husband.
Oh.
Yeah, before that. So for the longest time, I believe in this, right? The biggest block that you have in your life.
So you actually practice what you preach.
I believe in that. So at this point of time, even when I coach my clients, I tell them, there are certain aspects of my life, especially I'm going through a spiritual journey. I will not teach you that, because I've not gone to the other side of it as yet. I'm in the process of getting there. Till I get there, I'm not going to give you any information, because I've not walked the path. I will only teach you. That is why even when people ask me about fitness, right? Your team, when they reached out to me, they said, can we ask certain questions about fitness? I said, no, I'm not an expert. I've not walked the path. How can I go out and tell people, do this, you can become fit? I will do that the day I've walked my path when it comes to fitness. So it's a very conscious choice, because I also believe in karma, the words that come out of my mouth. It has to be responsible. I will never say something I've not done. And now I'm being much more conscious with being more authentic with who I am, irrespective of how people want to perceive me in the process.
So staying with this relationship, because I know my entire team is watching this and they're here, and this whole building, everyone is under the age of 30. Can holding on to a past heartbreak stop new love from finding?
100%. Reason being, we all have something called the energetic space. In the energetic space, you can only accommodate certain things. Let's say a huge chunk of let's say you have a suitcase and your suitcase is filled with all the old clothes and torn clothes. Where do you have the space to put the new clothes there?
You got to do a spring cleaning.
You've got to bring that out. You've got to make peace with yourself. You've got to understand that whoever the person was in your life, your journey with that person is over. It does not mean he was bad, she was bad, you're good, you're bad. No. That person's purpose in your life is done. Whatever lesson they had to teach you has been taught. If you've learned that lesson, you won't repeat the same pattern with the other person. But if you've not learned the lesson, there is high possibility of you repeating the same pattern with the next person. So it's always better that you find your own closure rather than waiting for the other person to come and give you closure.
Speaking of this suitcase, it's a nice example. It has old clothes and stuff like
Yeah.
that, okay? Staying with the suitcase, and I'm filling the suitcase with anger, jealousy, or envy. But this suitcase is with my neighbor. Now, they have the suitcase, and can they throw this suitcase at me of jealousy, anger, what we call as nazar or evil eye? Can it harm or affect our health?
Okay, great.
And what do I need to do to kind of have my own protective suitcase so that that doesn't fill my suitcase?
Okay, two things, right? First, let's talk about jealousy and envy. Why do we feel jealous about somebody? When I look at somebody, when I have a goal for myself, let's say I want to make $1 million, and I see a friend or a neighbor who is in my reality, I say we all live in the same world, but we live in different worlds in our mind. So let's say a neighbor comes into my reality and they've made $1 million. The instant I feel jealous about them, it's not about them. It's a feedback about myself. Why do I feel jealous? Jealousy comes from a place where I believe if this person has this, I might not have it. It comes from a scarcity mindset.
Scarcity mindset.
Yes. And on the contrary, when you have an abundant mindset, you look at the person making $1 million and you tell the universe, damn it, this was your way of telling me that this was even possible for me. Thank you for bringing this into my reality.
That's so powerful.
Yeah.
That's so powerful.
So you shift your mindset. So
Is this why when you give, you get more?
When you give without expectation, you get more. When you give with expectation, you get disappointed. Because no matter how much you get, you feel like I gave more, I did not get enough.
And I think staying with that, we see a lot of the Gen Z today, they're choosing money over the mental health or that stability. So do you think prioritizing this mental peace, this mental vibration before financial stability is probably something that Gen Z has to begin to reprogram?
Okay, great question. I want to answer it in two parts. First, let's understand now, because entrepreneurship or becoming a business owner is so, what would I say? Only the glamorous side of it is showcased. And I see so many people do clickbait reels, become an AI expert, become this, start your business, all of that. Who do you think becomes successful in a business? A person who's extremely passionate about what they're doing. Reason? When you run a business, every day is adversity. And the only way you'll move through that adversity or move past that adversity is when you truly have a vision for that, whatever you're doing. It's not the money. The money is going to be a byproduct of what you do. The more you chase money, the more burnout you'll feel. The more you chase excellence, money will start chasing you. So when it comes to mental peace and money, I believe in an and life.
What's an and life?
You can have this and this. You don't have to have this or this. What makes you believe that you can only have a great relationship but a screwed up career? You can have both of it. It's a mind block. That is what people have convinced us into believing, that you can either have this or you can either have this. You cannot have both of it.
I've never publicly talked about this, but you share a lot about your family. And my father and mother would literally have to leave the Middle East. They were literally thrown out of the Middle East because we were on our father's visa when we were very young, I was 10 years of age. And from that time, I think my parents felt very slighted that they are very good people and how can they be thrown out of a country. And they lived their entire life since then in a negativity that we are not worthy, we are not worth it, we have bad luck. And I've always heard this statement from a very young age. In fact, I remember my grandfather talking about us having bad luck, my father talking about having bad luck. Until the age of 22, 23, I genuinely believed I had bad luck. Till I left home. And I watched this magician, I forgot his name, and he read out the horoscopes of 12 people. And then he just said, I jumbled it up and you believed what you wanted to hear.
It. Yes.
And from that day onwards, I didn't allow any pundit, father, mother, anybody to say that I have bad luck. I then from that day onwards said, I will create my luck. Until today, I do not look at any horoscope. And I know there are people out there who are the world's best. They're probably the super nutritionist of astrology and everything. And I truly respect them. But the moment they come and say, I need to read what your destiny is, and I'm like, no, I create it, I manifest it. So this sharing with you by you and by me, I think is very powerful, because I want to convince the world that if you want to take care of your health, you can manifest what you need to do. But you need to sit yourself down and stop bullshitting yourself.
That's so true.
And that is difficult, because everyone says the problem is with the world and it's not with me. I think if we start first saying that the problem is with me and work on yourself, the longer you work on yourself, the greater you become. You are not jealous of your neighbor or your spouse or anybody else in your life.
So, talking about destiny and what you just said, astrology, I love that concept that you spoke about. For everybody who's watching, I'm sure the questions that are going to come up is destiny real? Is everything pre-written? I have only one definition for that. All of our lives are destined. But we have a million possible destinies of how we can progress. At this very instant, when people are watching this podcast, they have a destiny that is laid ahead of them. If they continue to be the same person, how their life is going to be. They also have a completely different destiny where their life can change completely and they can become the best version of themselves by changing their free will that they have at this point of time. At every given instant, we have a free will to choose from, and every free will is opening up a different destiny which is already destined. In your case, you chose a free will. I'll work on myself. And that's why the path opened up to be what it is right now. And when you actually retrospectively look back, whatever happened when you were 10 years old was destined to happen for you to be what you are right now.
The glass is half full or the glass is half empty. That's a perspective that you can choose. And I think if we choose to look for the positive in anything and everything that we do, we'll find the rainbow.
Whatever you're not grateful for will control your life. If I was not grateful for the kind of a father my father was, I wasn't for a very long time. I used to resent that man. I used to have so much anger against that man, and it did no good to me. And the minute I had a moment of realization, not an intellectual understanding, a moment of realization that all of this was happening the way it was supposed to happen for me to be wherever I am right now. That's it. That grudge, that anger, that angst just disappears. And the beauty is when you let go and forgive. Forgiveness is not you forgiving them. You're forgiving yourself for holding on to so much anger and resentment for so many years. The minute that happens, the abundance flows through in your life.
I have manifested where I am today. I would like you, as a manifestation coach, a person that works in the mind and helps people along their journey with coaching. We know that money can help a lot of people change their life.
Absolutely.
Like doing a cold plunge, you need a little bit of money to buy that ice and do the cold
100%.
plunge, right? Versus having a cold shower, which doesn't need any money. And then you do a cold plunge at 6 degrees Celsius, means you have a compressor over there. I'm sharing this with you because financial stability gives people more credibility to become more powerful.
100%.
How can you help us or help everyone out there understand the ways to manifest financial stability?
Okay. So when it comes to money, we need to understand it is an emotion that we feel on the inside. How abundant do I feel on the inside? For this, the first step I would recommend people to do is do a self-awareness activity. Sit with yourself and ask yourself these questions. What are my dominant beliefs about money? How do I feel about people who are being rich and people who have opportunities? And every time I get an opportunity that has the potential of making me a millionaire, potential of bringing a lot of money, how do I sabotage it? Okay? Once you write down how you sabotage it, also write down most of the sabotaging will be procrastination. Oh, I keep procrastinating. I don't do this. I don't do that. We need to understand procrastination is not the root cause. It's only a symptom. So every time you're procrastinating doing something, ask yourself this question. If I did not procrastinate, who would I become?
Wow, that's so powerful.
And why am I so terrified of it? If I did not procrastinate eating healthy, who would I become? I'd become super fit. I'd become the best version of myself. Why are you terrified of it? You don't do that because a part of you does not want you to do that, because it is scared. If I become the fittest version of me, something else is going to happen in the background. For example, if I have a belief system around money saying, when I become really wealthy, when I become really rich and reach the top, I'll be lonely. My family, friends, I'll lose out on them. If I have that belief system and family and friends are very important for me, I will sabotage every single opportunity that will help me get there.
That's so deep and so interesting. Uh, so many ways the human brain can go. And sometimes I think what I'm hearing from this entire podcast is that sometimes you need somebody to talk to also who's an expert in all of this.
Yes.
Like when people come to me for a nutrition plan, the other day a cancer survivor came in and said, I need you to help me on my nutrition plan. And I said, you don't want to talk to me, you want to talk to my cancer specialist dietitian. He's like, no, I want to talk to you. And I spoke to him for half an hour. And I realized that in that whole conversation, I was not the person for him. But the only reason he wanted to speak to me is because he wanted comfort. He didn't want the diet per se. But I ended up convincing him that, he needs to do the technical part. But when I went away and I discussed that with my wife, I says, you know what? People are not only looking for an expert, they're looking for somebody who is an expert who will handhold them along a journey.
Yes.
And I think with that, whether it's love, it's finance, it's past trauma, it's anything that you do, the mind is extremely powerful.
Yes.
And a lot of times we are afraid that when we begin to deep dive inside our own mind, that the world is going to laugh at us, or still worse, your own self is going to laugh at you. So that starts the process of inaction. Gayathri, this has been amazing. But before I let you go, I want to do a little bit of rapid fire with you.
All right.
Okay? Because as you know, a lot of people don't have the discipline to watch a long podcast. So let's give them some quick rapid fire questions. What's one affirmation you personally never miss?
I'm the favorite child of the universe. Everything in my life is happening for my highest good.
Is there a second one?
No, this is something I always keep telling myself.
So is it like a prayer?
It's not like a prayer. It's a constant chatter. Like we have a voice that is between the two ears, right? My voice is this. And I also have this voice that constantly says, I'm meant for something really big in this world.
One golden rule for manifesting health.
Manifesting health. Start talking to your body and start talking to yourselves. Tell yourself, I am in my most optimal health. And constantly keep visualizing that your cells are so happy and so energetic and so pumped with energy.
I'm going for a workout later, so hey, muscles, we're going to have a workout together. A lot of people are low in life today, and I genuinely believe they are low because of their nutritional, vibrational energy. But one trick you use as a mind coach for raising low vibration in people?
Stillness. Just come back, no matter where you are, come back to yourself, take deep breaths, and focus on your heart and come back to stillness. There is nothing more profound and nothing more powerful than silence and stillness.
This is deep. As a holistic therapist, do you ever feel guilty about emotional binge eating?
All the time. I'm still working on that. I'm still working on my relationship with food. I'm still working on what aspect of me is still holding on to a little bit of an extra weight and binge eating at times.
I have a secret for you as a nutritionist.
Yes.
There is a gene, there's a set of genes that control regulation of eating, and emotional binge eating is coded in your genetics too. So it could be the environment, which could be past trauma, could be behavior, could be your subconscious, but there is a gene in the human race that codes for snacking, satiety response being low, and emotional eating.
That's interesting.
Your favorite emotional healing food?
I think it's dal khichdi.
Mine's mango. One belief about healing that you wish everybody on the planet knew?
That this journey is not very easy, but it is extremely worth it. Because every time you heal an aspect of you, there is a key that you get to the treasure that you've always been seeking for.
I'm going to put you on the spot over here. Holistic healing versus modern medicine. Which is more impactful?
I would say when you start taking care of your holistic healing, the modern medicine would not have so much of an importance in your life as such. So start working on this. If at all there is modern medicine that is required, it only happens, according to me, when you've not worked on yourself enough and it shows up and modern medicine is there to help you fix it later.
Very wise. One procrastination habit that could cost us our dreams?
Snoozing your alarm and not waking up at the time that you told yourself you're going to wake up?
The ultimate life lesson you have learned as a holistic therapist.
Okay. When you live your dharmic life, which is the life of your purpose, your karmic life is taken care of.
He's so powerful. Gayatri, this has been one of the most profound and impactful podcasts I've ever done, because whatever you say, subconsciously, I've been trying to learn. So today I got an absolutely amazing session with you. So thank you so much for coming all the way down from your busy schedule and doing this with me. And I hope millions of you out there save this one podcast, star mark it to your phone, and when you're flying in that flight to your dreams, wherever you're going, don't forget that this is saved to your phone and you can watch it again, because there are beautiful snippets in between, including framing your own destiny. So thank you for all those words of wisdom, and I hope to see you very soon again in one of your workshops.
That's so sweet. Thank you so much for having me here. I would just love to end it with this. For everybody who's watching, when the answers are ready, the question appears. So, all the answers that you probably got from this podcast came to you because you were ready for it at this point of time.
Cheers.
Thank you.
Thank you for watching this far. It's been an amazing episode, and I'm so grateful to have you till the end. If you like this video, please share this video with your loved ones. Better still, gift me a subscribe, a like, or even a comment, and we'll come back to you.